The topic of today's sermon is accepting who they are. Now, if you think about it, imagine that you're a parent and you have a child who's too short. Well, you want them to be taller. But can you make your child taller? No, that's ridiculous. Or if you have a child that's too tall, you want them to be shorter. You can't do that. That's also ridiculous. But then you start getting into territory that gets iffy. Let's say that you have a child who's gay. You want them to be straight. Can you do that? Some parents think that they can. So they force their child to be straight. They force them to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. They force them to act a certain way. And what they don't realize is that it creates a lot of suffering. It creates a lot of problems, both for the son or the daughter, and also for the parents, because you're trying to make them something that they're not. Now, even more detailed than that, if your child is someone who is dirty and you want them to be clean, if they talk a lot and you want them to talk less, they don't talk a lot and you want them to talk more, we keep trying to force them to be something that they're not. Well, the same thing happens. They get unhappy, they get sad, you get frustrated, and no one's happy. Even if they start acting the way you want, just like if your son or daughter is gay and pretends to be straight, they're not happy. And you won't be happy because your child is not happy. So then in this case, what should you do? Should you still teach them? Should you still help them? Yes, you should still love and care for them. However, the thing that you teach them has to be within reason. If you know that is beyond their capabilities or beyond their ability to do such things, you have to let it go. You can try, but once you know that it's not possible, you have to let it go. Because if you think about it, in the time that you have with them, what should you do? You have 10 years left. Should you spend all 10 years fighting with them? Or should you spend 10 years loving them? What would be better? So many people in the United States, at least, that were gay, where the parents didn't want them to be gay, they spent like 5 years in pain and then they killed themselves. And then what happened? Now the parents are crying for 20, 30 years about what I should have done, what I should have done. Now this doesn't only relate to parents and children. This also relates to boyfriend and girlfriend. This also relates to friends. We keep trying to change what other people are. But the time that we have together is so short. It would be much better to just love them for who they are. Because one day, if the person that you love but want to change dies, time's up. There is no more time to change. All that you have left is time to be sad and time to be sorry. So wouldn't it be better to have spent the time with them having fun, showing love for each other, than to spend the time trying to fix them, trying to make them different, trying to make them what you think? Because even if they become what you think, you might not even like what you see. Let's say that you have someone who's not very smart. Or for example, you have someone who doesn't make a lot of money and you want your husband or wife to make more money. And then what happened was, in this case, the husband didn't make that much money. And the wife says, "You're lazy, you need to work harder." So the husband goes and works harder. Now the husband gets rich and famous, and then he doesn't want his wife anymore. And then what happens? They're not happy. It would have been a lot better to just love them for who they are in the time that you have. So this is why the Buddha teaches acceptance. In Thai we call it yam lap. Accept them for who they are. Love them for who they are. And live with them for who they are. That way you have a happier life. But if you keep trying to change them, then in that case, you're both fighting. And with fighting, no one's happy. No one wins. Everyone loses.